not good. We are surrounded. Damn it. So much for Plan B.
Hey, what's this?
It's triggering the alert in my suit. I need to learn more about this thing. must be another one of those cargo drops. Except that doesn't look like the crew's personal luggage. Might be worth checking out. Huh. Looks like some kind of device. Maybe there's a way I could use it.
Hey man, we're running out of storage space.
Another movie. Hey, is that one following me? What the hell? What is this? Another anomaly? It looks out of this world. Jeez, I packed a lot of stuff.
so much stuff you need to take.
Look what I found. Any idea what it could be?
Let's see. It looks like a qubit chip.
Qubit chip?
Yeah, like an enhanced storage for quantum computing operations. It could be useful for increasing the efficiency of our QC unit, not to mention accessing new tech in the research lab.
It looks broken.
Perceptive. A little love in the workshop should get it up and running.
Gotcha. Thanks. Okay. I went beyond the rocks. It doesn't look good. The lava river is vast as hell. I'll be straight with you. There's no way around it.
Holy shit. What now?
I guess we need to get across somehow. Any ideas up your smart-ass sleeve?
So now I'm smart, huh? Well, actually, I do have an idea. We could build a research lab and see if we can come up with anything useful there.
Okay, let's give it a go.
Evacuation functionality manual. The quantum navigation system. Solution design.
How's the grass today? Hello?
Jan Dolsky. Finally. I've been impatient to meet you.
Yeah, sure. You that big fish Lucas was mumbling about?
Terrence Maxwell. But yes, I am both his and your superior at mining operations. First of all, my heartfelt condolences. Losing the whole crew must have been hard on you.
Yeah. I still can't get over it.
Their families have been informed. They're grief-stricken, as you can imagine. But the deaths of their loved ones will go down in history as part of a pioneering discovery. Your discovery.
So, do people know I found Rapidium?
We're keeping the news within a very limited circle. It's only wise for the time being.
Of course. Yeah. No reason to get everyone hyped up. Might still fail.
I can see you're a grown man, Jan. And you understand the stakes. Don't want to put pressure on you, but... failure is not an option.
That's why you had me create my altars? You'd rather let me lose my mind than lose the Rapidium?
It was a long shot, I admit. But we were saving both. Rapidium and you, Jan. Do you think it was a mistake?
No. I'm glad I did it.
You certainly have a chance to experience something extraordinary. Many people would envy you.
Let's just get one thing straight, Maxwell. I know you expect things of me, but I'm no hero.
Ah, heroism. Are you familiar with the works of Albert Camus?
Albert who?
A great writer and philosopher. Camus believed heroism was easy, accessible. For him, it was living a normal man's life that was a true challenge. Being decent. Doing the right thing. You are the first person to prove that we can actually excavate Rapidium in quantities that can really make a difference. A dream the biggest corporations have been chasing for over a decade now, constantly failing. You say you're not a hero? Well, maybe I don't need you to be one. Maybe you should just carry on being a decent man, Jan Dolsky.
Well, that doesn't sound so bad. Thanks.
Of course, I would lie to you if I said your work is done. You've probably noticed how different Rapidium looks in reality than on the training materials they showed you.
Why is that?
It changes form constantly. Its chemical structure is so volatile that it is almost impossible to capture two particles in the same state. A fleeting substance. Spectacular. But also very unstable.
How come it works then?
Not enough tests were run to explain that. The only sample ever found in space was researched inside a mobile base like your own, but it never made it back to Earth. It lasted long enough to demonstrate its amazing qualities, only to disintegrate somewhere between the Copernicus and the Hyades cluster.
So, you're afraid the Rapidium I found might not withstand the journey?
I know it won't. That's why we came up with a special container for it. An ark.
You mean like a box?
A hermetic module dedicated specifically to storing and transporting rubidium. We have blueprints for it. Lucas should send the necessary data over to you by the time we finish talking. Constructing a rubidium ark should be your primary focus now.
Listen, you're very convincing, but I'm afraid I just won't have the time to do it. I need to find a way forward before the sun comes up.
You're losing faith easily. Look how far you've come. You survived the landing. You found rubidium. Then you branched yourself and managed to get the base moving. Would you really be happy with yourself if it all went to waste?
Waste? Wow. Is that what you consider saving my life?
Your life, my life. Let's face it. All it is a predetermined string of events, distorted with myriads of random, meaningless decisions. We spend centuries looking for some kind of sense in it, some kind of meaningful pattern or recipe. Still, no satisfactory answer comes. Until, once in hundreds, maybe thousands of years, a chance appears to make a leap in our understanding of reality.
What can I say?
I don't know. But whatever you make of it, let me bare my soul to you. I think these are rare moments that matter. So, enough talking. Lucas said you had questions. Is there anything you'd like to ask me?
Do you know what happened to my crew?
Lucas showed me the records. I have a theory, but it's more of a hunch. I don't have any hard proof to support it.
What is it?
Well, I think it might have been the quantum processing unit that killed them.
What? But that's... No, that's crazy.
Do you read detective stories, Jan? The culprit always needs to have two things. A motive and a means. Well, it certainly had a means to do it.
But why?
Like I said, it's just a hunch. I'm afraid I won't have much more time for now, Jan. Do you have any other questions?
What will happen to my altars when we get back?
I don't know. Yet. I don't need to tell you this is unprecedented. There are no good practices here. But I know one thing. You can trust me and Lucas completely. But if anyone else contacts you, it's absolutely vital you don't tell them anything about the existence of the altars.
What? Why?
You know very well why, Jan. The law has been violated.
I thought Lucas said the branching was authorized.
You haven't been listening. There are no procedures for this sort of situation. There is no one who can officially authorize such an act. At the end of the day, it was your decision to branch yourself. It will be in your best interest to keep that in mind when considering the consequences.
I don't like the sound of this.
We will come back to it later, I'm sure. Right now, I'll have to leave you shortly. Is there anything else?
The branching procedure. There's a story there. Tell me.
It is something that has been tested long ago within Ally Corp. But for completely different reasons and, as you can imagine, in a much more rudimentary fashion.
Altering mind records? For whom?
I'm sorry, Jan. It's It's highly classified, and I already told you too much. I think you deserve answers, but regarding this matter, like I said, things were tested, just for a while. Not much came of it. Now, I'd love to keep on chatting, but I really will need to be ending this call soon. Do you have any more questions?
No. I'm good.
Rapidium Archeon. That's what you should focus on right now. Your secret is safe with me and Lucas. Once you come back with a remedy for Earth's ailments, nobody will think of punishing you for how you got it. Remember, just do the right thing. Now, I really have to go, but it was a pleasure talking to you, and we will talk more, I promise. Until then.
Get rid of you!
Hey, how are you feeling? Well, I'll be damned. You okay? Surprisingly okay. Especially considering what I'm seeing. Very clearly. Good. Do you, remember your name? Of course. But... I think you know perfectly well who I am. So let's not waste time. Just tell me, how much did you find? What? How much rupidium is there? Did we get a breakthrough? Yeah, you bet. There's a lot of it. Good. That's good. Wait, how do you know? Well, isn't it obvious? I wake up seeing someone who looks and sounds like me, which has to mean we share the same DNA. Then there's the glasses. What about them? They're fake. Probably just manufactured to make me feel more like myself, but completely unnecessary otherwise, because here I am with perfectly good eyesight in the womb module, which can only lead to one conclusion: that my body was created to replicate someone who doesn't wear glasses. You. And to do that, of course, you would need to have found rupidium. Besides, I can see no other explanation for a sheep inside a space base. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wow, you're right. That's impressive. I did create you out of my DNA. We're not identical, of course. I can see you're not as quick to process information. And that's the interesting part. Yeah. Our bodies are the same, but our minds are not. I needed a scientist on board. But there's always a scientist on board. So, what went wrong? The old crew is gone. They're all dead. That's why I needed to alter myself into different versions. With the use of the quantum computer on board and something called mind records. Oh, I see. A recalculated mind based on an infinite amount of variables to contain the desired consciousness in a biological vessel. That actually sounds plausible. So, what do you need from me now? You have to get our research lab running at once. We need to make some improvements fast if we want to succeed. But I guess the sooner I start, the better. You're right. Why don't you start with going through the mission logs? I need to get the full picture first. My thoughts exactly. Good. This might work.